I want to talk to you about something for a second. Have you ever been in something with a man that felt like everything? Felt like the connection you had been waiting for? Felt like finally. And then one day you looked up and realized that for all the time you had been investing, for all the energy you had been given, for all the ways you had been showing up, he had never actually committed to anything? No title, no real direction, no honest conversation about a future, just access. Access to your time when it was convenient for him, access to your emotional availability when he needed it, access to your body, which should be sacred, access to your care, your presence, your vulnerability, without any of the accountability that should come with receiving all of that from a woman like you. And the most painful part is not even the situation itself. The most painful part is looking back and realizing that the signs were there, that his behavior was telling you the whole time, that somewhere deep down you knew, and you stayed anyway because the connection felt real, because you kept hoping the access would eventually become a choice. I see you. I have been exactly where you are. And today I'm going to give you the tools to make sure you never have to sit in that confusion again. Hey there, I'm Avarel Smith, a certified dating and relationship coach. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about something most women have felt in their bones but never had the exact language to describe. Most of the women I work with were not in bad relationships. They were in situations where a man had access to everything a relationship provides without ever actually choosing the relationship itself. And the reason most women stay far longer than they should is not because they are naive. It is because access can feel exactly like love when you're in the middle of it. After all, it's hard to see the picture when you're inside of the frame. So here's some clear ways to tell the difference before your heart is too far in to receive the information clearly. Now here's what nobody tells you. A man pursues you with intention, or he keeps things conveniently undefined. So a man who genuinely wants you, he does not leave the nature of what you are to chance. He's not vague about his intentions. He moves things forward, not perfectly, but with clear, consistent forward intention. He plans, he follows through, he makes it evident through his behavior, not just his words, that he's pursuing something real with you specifically. On the other hand, a man who wants access, he keeps things comfortably convenient. He shows up when it works for him. He gives you just enough warmth, attention, just enough moments to feel real, to maintain your engagement without ever moving things to actual definition or commitment. Convenience is not pursuit. Showing up when it's easy is not the same as consistently choosing you when it would be easier not to. And you as the chooser, you're not waiting for grand gestures. You're watching, you're consistent, you're intentional. And when that is absent, well, you receive that absence as the information that it is. Now, this one might surprise you. A man who's curious about you, he wants you, or he's focused on what you provide. So a man who genuinely wants you is interested in who you are. He asks questions and stays present with your answers. He remembers what you told him last week and he brings it up this week. He becomes more curious about your inner world over time, not just more comfortable with what you provide him. On the other hand, a man who wants access is interested in what you offer, your attention, your time, your body, your emotional availability. He's comfortable with the parts of you that serve him and largely uninterested in the parts that require any real investment. A man who wants you will ask how you're really doing and want the real answer, not the "I'm fine" one. A man who wants access will resurface when his own life gets quiet and picks up right where he left off, as if time and distance are neutral because for him, they have been. So pay attention to where his curiosity constantly lands. It will tell you more about what he's actually building with you than anything he could ever say out loud. So this is where it gets interesting. A man creates security, or he maintains uncertainty. So a man who genuinely wants you creates a feeling of security, not the excitement of chemistry or the electricity of something new, the settled feeling underneath all of that The grounded feeling of knowing, not hoping, not convincing yourself, but genuinely knowing you are chosen consistently without having to audit his behavior to confirm it's still true. On the other hand, a man who wants access to you, he creates and maintains uncertainty. And he does not always do it consciously, but the uncertainty serves him because an uncertain woman keeps investing. An uncertain woman keeps showing up and giving and staying because the cycle keeps running and hope keeps feeding it. Uncertainty at the beginning of getting too much from a man is natural, but uncertainty that lives in the same place month after month, year after year, no, that never resolves no matter how much time you give it. It's not a phase to push through. It's a pattern. And it is already answering the question you've been afraid to ask. Now, here's what I see all the time. A man shows up for the relationship or he shows up for himself. So watch what he does when showing up actually requires something from him. A man who genuinely wants you will show up even when it's not convenient. Even when it means having a conversation he would rather avoid or make a decision that costs him something real. Not perfectly, but consistently enough that you feel his investment in what you are building. You feel like a priority, not because he says it, but because his behavior confirms it on an ordinary day when nothing special is happening. On the other hand, a man who wants access shows up when it costs him nothing. He's warm and attentive when his life is quiet. He's present when he wants something from you. But the moment showing up requires real sacrifice or real accountability or real movement towards commitment, he becomes suddenly unclear, suddenly unavailable, suddenly needing space. A man who consistently shows up only when it costs him nothing has already answered the most important question you have been circling around. He's not showing up for you. He's showing up for what he receives from you. And you as the chooser, you are becoming, you deserve a man who shows up for you fully, consistently, even when it requires something real from him. Now, here's what I want to be honest with you about before we close. Understanding these differences and actually applying them when you're in the middle of feelings and chemistry and hope and history, those are two completely different things. The hardest days are not when things are clearly bad. They are when things are just good enough, when he shows back up with just enough warmth, when hope feels just loud enough to drown out what you've been observing. Those are the days when community is not optional. Those are the days when having women around you who will remind you of your standard when everything in you wants to make an exception. That community is what makes the difference between a woman who goes back and a woman who finally moves forward. That is exactly why I created Date Like a Duchess, a space to actually practice dating better in real time, with real women, with real accountability, and with real support. Monthly life coaching, daily 10-minute challenges, daily frameworks, and done-for-you scripts you can use immediately. And a community of women who are done giving access to men who have not earned it. You deserve a man who wants you, not wants access to you. Who pursues you with clear intention, who stays curious about who you actually are, who creates security through the steadiness of how he shows up, and who gives something real of himself to be with you. That is not too much to want. That is the baseline. And you as the chooser, you know the difference between a man who meets that baseline and a man who is simply maintaining convenient access to you. And she acts on what she knows. So if this spoke to you today, trust that recognition. That is not overthinking. That is discernment. And discernment is the beginning of everything changing. So come join us inside Date Like a Duchess. The link is right below this video. Come introduce yourself. Tell us where you are in your journey. You have done this enough on your own. I will see you inside.